Have you wanted to trade your timeshare week in Interval International, but you don't really know how to get started? And quite frankly, you find the site a little bit confusing. Well, that's what we're here for today. I want to give you an introduction to how to exchange your week in Interval International. So let's get started. Step one is you're going to find and deposit the highest TDI week you can reserve. TDI equals the Travel Demand Index. The Travel Demand Index is proprietary to Interval International, and basically what it's telling you is how popular a resort is during any given week of the year. Let me show you how to find the TDI for your resort. When you first log into your Interval account, this is the first page you come to, and we're going to head over here to the resort directory. You can search however you like. I like to just click on USA. And we're going to actually look at a ski property. So let's look in the Rocky Mountains and go to Colorado Breckenridge. And let's look at this Grand Colorado on Peak 8. And over here on the right-hand side, you can see it's got something called the Travel Demand Index. It shows you the weeks with the greatest demand and the weeks with the greatest availability. So here you can see weeks 1 through, I think that's 17 or 18. Those are all ski weeks. That's January through March. And those are going to be the most popular times to go to that resort, as well as these weeks down here in December. The weeks that aren't as popular, so you're more than likely to find a room, are here in the fall, starting at about the end of September into October and November. And then it starts getting popular again around Thanksgiving. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go to the resort directory. And you want to go to your actual resort and you want to look, I'm going to look at Branson, Missouri, because I have a week there. And I am going to look it up for its Travel Demand Index. So you can see here in Branson, the first 7 weeks of the year, it has huge availability. The greatest demand is in the summer months. This is when people want to come spend the 4th of July or maybe going on into fall where maybe you've got some fall colors, and then it doesn't really get popular again until maybe around Christmas week. All right, so let's look at the Branson Travel Demand Index versus the Colorado Travel Demand Index sort of side by side. You can see that if this is your season, if you have a summer week in Branson and you can reserve the highest Travel Demand Index, you are going to have a better chance of getting the highest Travel Demand Index in Colorado. Now, I will tell you, it does factor in how popular Branson is versus Colorado. How many people are looking to go to Branson in the summer versus how many people are looking to ski in Colorado? And that definitely is going to make a determination on your ability to exchange. If you have reserved one of these first 7 weeks of Branson, you're going to have a really difficult time getting over here to Colorado unless you're trying to bid for one of these fall weeks. Okay, so it's really important to make your reservation in the highest Travel Demand Index week that you possibly can. Okay, we've talked about what TDI means. I've shown you where you can find it. Now the third step is up to you. You have to figure out what season and what week you can book in your own resort. And that's going to vary based upon your own contract within your resort. So that's up to you to research that, to find the highest Travel Demand Index week that you can, because that's what you want to deposit into Interval International. That's step number 1 to getting a successful exchange. Now, let's move on and let me show you step number 2. Step number 2 is to enter a pending request as early as possible. This is the main toolbar, and I want you to go to Exchange and then down to My Units. Now, this screen drives me crazy because it is so confusing when you are a beginner. You need to know that Interval has just put in these placeholders. They don't know what weeks you own, so they are just waiting for your deposit. And they don't know if you have a 2024 week or just a 2025 week. They don't know if you have a studio, if you have 2 bedrooms. They have no idea. So that's why they made this screen so confusing. It'll just drive you crazy. Okay, let me show you what I'm talking about. Here are my units. Look, usage 2024. And it looks like I should be able to, when you scroll down here, Marriott's Willow Ridge Lodge, it looks like it's available 2024. Guess what? I'm an odd week. I don't have any 2024 usage. Okay, Interval just is using those 2024 listings as placeholders because they don't know what I own. I actually own a week in 2025, and that's what I deposited, and it'll show me the actual week. Okay, and what I want to show you down here is what I deposited was a studio. So because it's a studio, it limits what I can trade for. All I can trade out to is a 2-bedroom. There are some timeshares that are 3 or 4 bedrooms, but because I deposited a studio, I can only trade out to a 2-bedroom. That's kind of important so that you understand you're not going to get a 3 or 4 bedroom out of your studio. One of the ways to be most successful in making an exchange is to place a request. So let's go through the process of placing a request. I clicked on there and then I'm going to select my travel preference, and there's really just 2 adults for right now. I don't know who's traveling with me. And because I don't know who's traveling with me, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say, I know I can trade up to a 2-bedroom. Why not go for it? I can always invite friends, right? But because I deposited a studio, if I exchange for a studio, there are no additional fees. However, if I want a 1-bedroom, there's an additional fee. And if I want a 2-bedroom, there's an additional fee. Now, where can you get the fees? Right here on this fee chart. Okay, you're going to see that my exchange into a 1-bedroom is $59. And that's because I've upgraded my Interval account into a platinum account. Okay, it saves me money when I want to upgrade to larger bedrooms. That's the only well, I shouldn't say that. That's one of the biggest advantages to upgrading to maybe the platinum membership. You could always upgrade to platinum for 1 year, and if you find you don't use it, don't upgrade to it again. All right. Once you know your bedroom size, you're going to come down here and it's going to ask if you want a kitchen. And yes, I actually like having a kitchen. I do cook on vacation. And then I don't need any special facilities. So let's go to next. And I'm just going to accept these terms and conditions. Go ahead and read those on your own. All right. Now this is where you place your request. And there are 2 tips I have for you here. Tip number 1 is when you look at your destination, you want to add as many destinations as possible or as many resorts within that destination as possible. If you just add 1 resort to your destination, it's going to be really difficult to make a trade. I like to use the map to add my destinations. So what I'm going to do here, let's go ahead. Let's look at something like Hilton Head, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to click anything that is gold or blue because I really want my week. So I want to stay in as nice a property as possible, but I'm not super picky because I'm making an exchange. I want them to offer me a nice exchange. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add all of those to my request. Please enter your travel dates. Okay. Tip number 2 is you want to provide as many weeks in your travel window as possible in order to get the best exchange possible. So if you can only travel on spring break, that's only 1 week. That makes it, even though you have a lot of resorts, you're competing with a lot of people who are going to want a spring break week. Now, what about June? Maybe your kids are out of school in June and you're like, hey, I will take any week in June. We're planning this a year ahead of time. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to go ahead and we're just pick add. I have 12 resorts that I'm willing to take anytime during June. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and again accept terms and continue. On this screen, we have two options. The first one is for $89, you can pay for what's called E+. E+ allows you to change your destination, your resort, your unit size, or your travel dates up to 3 times. I look at E+ as travel insurance. If for some reason I cannot take the vacation I planned on, it allows me to make a trade. Then the second thing is a gift certificate. Maybe you have adult children that you'd like to give them the week, or maybe you have friends that you're traveling with. Anyway, I'm going to leave the E+ and I'm going to continue. Okay, so basically this is just saying I am relinquishing my studio. I am going to request these 12 resorts. I am willing to upgrade for the additional $118. And this is what it costs me to make a trade within Interval International. It costs me $229 to put in the request and $89 for E+, for a total of $318. And what you need to know about this is if you do not get an exchange, you do get this money back. So then you're going to continue. You can add trip protection, but that's usually what I use E+ for, is if I need to make a trade, I pay for the E+. So nothing happens until you pay the money, and you do pay this $318 up front, and then you wait. So if they find a request, you're going to get an email, so be sure to check your emails, but otherwise you're just waiting for them. And if they don't make the exchange, you're going to get that money back. So from here, you can completely click out of this. Until you pay the money, this has not happened. So I'm just going to go back here to Interval. Okay, are you still with me? Because we are on to the final step, step number 3. And step number 3 is to search manually as often as possible. Now, the reason you want to search manually is because sometimes weeks drop into Interval at odd times and you can beat other people to it. Now, this really works best when it's maybe a week close in, within the next maybe month or two, where Interval's just really trying to get somebody to reserve that week. It also works great on those shoulder seasons, which is your September, October, April, May timeframe. You can really snatch up some great weeks during those times because those aren't the weeks that people are usually competing for. But if you spend the time to manually search as often as you check your email, as often as you check Facebook, I think you'll be really pleasantly surprised with how great of exchanges that you can get. So let's dive in and learn step number 3, manually searching. Let's go back to my units. Okay, I'm back here at my week 18 studio that I would like to exchange. And so to do a manual exchange, you simply press vacation exchange. You have a couple different ways that you can search. You can search on a single destination. You can search all destinations, or you can search on a resort name, code, or map. For some reason, Disney's Animal Kingdom is stuck in here. I've got the month of January search dates in there. And since I've already got this preloaded, let's go ahead and continue. And nope, sorry, we did not find any matches for your travel dates and destination. So since I want to be traveling in January, let's go ahead and let's search for all destinations. And let's see what we can find now. Here are the search results. If I look for January of 2025 to exchange my studio and what is available out there. And you can see there's a lot of availability across the US. We've got availability in Europe, in Mexico. We've got some in the Caribbean and the Atlantic Islands. Let's just go ahead and we're going to just click on Mexico South Baja. It is giving me different weeks at what's available, South Baja, Cabo San Lucas in January. And from here, I can just select, let's see if I can narrow it down. Let's do the Gran Solmar. All right, here is all availability for the Grand Solmar Pacific Dunes in the month of January for my particular exchange. Your week may have more, your week may have less. It really depends on that TDI. That's why I keep talking about it, because Interval will only show you a week that is a good trade for your particular week. This is how you do a manual search, and I would do this as often as possible for any months that you want to travel in or for any particular destinations that you want to go to. So, I hope I gave you a few tips and tricks you didn't know before on how to trade your timeshare in Interval International. I hope that you'll make your own list of 3-letter codes and do some great searching, because it's like a treasure hunt. You never know what vacation you're going to land on. Now, if you have any additional questions, I hope you'll leave them in the comments and I'll see if I can answer. And if there's something that everybody seems still confused about, I'll make another video. And the next video I'm going to make on Interval International is on accommodation certificates, because again, it's one of those tricky things that people don't fully understand. So stay tuned. I hope you'll watch the next one.